Okay.
Hello, everyone. My name is Javakun, and your friendly Discord mod, and I'm here with,
Term.
and we're gonna be going over the Earth portals and the Earth attribute cards for Knights and Summons. Okay, so let's start off with our first guy here. He is the Earth Knight. It
Mm-hmm.
is a 900 base attack with the 2 equip ability. This ally ignores all water equip cards on your opponent's field. What are your thoughts, Term?
So with this one, it's like the rest of the other attributes so far that we did, the light and dark. They- like their effect, it's very situational with the card typing for that to happen within, in tournaments or something like that. So, I mean, it's nice that he has two equipment costs, but his effect, I, I'm not a big fan.
So, just like the other ones, where are we rating him?
We're putting him at a C.
C. Okay, let's bring up the next boy. Okay, so the next card is the Dark Green Knight, a 1200 one equip, um, basically vanilla card.
Right.
Um, if you need Earth, it's okay. It has some high attack, and you can equip something into it, and it could make it
Mm-hmm.
bigger. But there are so many other cards in this game that you can utilize that I honestly I don't see the real benefit of putting this in a 30 card portal unless you're really going for that mono green type of deck. So I'm going with it to a D. What do you think?
With that being said, as well, like for it's not really anything. He has a mid tier attack. Yeah, for having no effect. You know how with no effect cards, their base attack is pretty high. You know,
Yeah.
but for this one, for being a mid tier base attack, like yeah, it gives them one equipment space. But I mean, other than that, you can't really do much with it.
Yep.
So
Um,
I go with what you said as well. At D to C tier, he just doesn't really have anything to it.
yep. Okay. Our next guy is the Emerald Knight.
Hmm.
The Emerald Knight is when this card is summoned, you can return any card on your field and any cards it may have equipped back to your hand. It is a 1500 base attack with 0 EA. This is honestly a very powerful card. Um, the fact that it actually returns, any card on the field is good, but I believe up in the upcoming kind of set fixes that's coming once the actual the Kickstarter cards come out. I believe
Hmm.
this gets reworded to only Earth cards, which makes it a little bit less enticing because it's only Earth cards that are affected, kind of like how the other knights have a bounce knight. Essentially, that's what
Hmm.
we call them. But its base attack is pretty damn high. It's actually
Yeah,
really
that
good.
that's a nice attack right there.
Yeah. So, what do you think?
For him right now, like it's a cool concept with his effect, how he can bounce a card back. Say you can try to avoid getting attacked twice if you have one card on the field. You can bounce it back in a way. Say if that one has more base attack than that card, but not the Emerald Knight, it does help out. But I mean, other than bouncing back cards, not real much to it. Personally, what do you think on it? I mean.
Yeah, basically, I would say it's a situational card. You want to play it on a portal that really has a good use to it, because when you play something on the field, you really kind of want it to stick, instead of actually taking it out. So it's for a specific portal, and
Hmm.
it is useful in certain portals, right?
Right, right,
The ability to get off an effect twice, the ability to bring up an equip and then activate the equip again. Those things are nice. So it has its ability. It's just a matter of whether the effect only applies to Earth cards or whether it applies to every card, right? If it
hmm,
applies to every card, I think this would go maybe at an A, right? But if it
right.
only applies to only Earth cards, I think it drops back down to like maybe a C or a D, a B or a C.
Yeah, at the current moment with how it's worded right now, with this card being summoned, you can return any card instead of a specific card. For this current moment with this card, at most I would say it's a B for
Yeah,
being to summon any card.
yeah,
If it does, if it does get reworked, being only Earth cards, yes, I would definitely drop it.
yeah.
But with this current state, yeah, I would say it's okay for certain portals.
Right. Okay, we're gonna leave it there, and then pull up the next guy, girl.
The Jade Knight.
That Jane, man, such a beautiful card.
That art is nice.
So the Jade Knight is a 700 plus with 2 equip abilities. Once per turn, during either player's turn, you can discard an Earth card from your hand. If you do so, you can give any ally plus 400 until the end of the turn. So this is a good way, kind of just like synergize with a full mono Earth portal,
Hmm. Right,
and
right.
being able to discard, and your opponent's attacking, you buff your cards by discarding a card. It's that's typical. You want to get rid of this card so that it can't buff the other guys before you start attacking everything else. But it comes with the cost of you having to constantly be discarding Earth cards,
Mm.
and the effect only lasts until that end of the turn, which is also not very good. Like, I personally have drawn this card many, many times, and I never play it because it has a low attack, so people can just jump over it. Um, I have used like I think I used it once to use its effect, so it basically use its EA for
Mhm.
something. Um, but typically, I don't use it to attack. I don't use it to buff cards. I just don't play it often. But then
Right, she's
again,
just there to be in a support, basically.
yeah. So to me, this is on C.
I could also agree with that. I just also like the concept that, I mean, you can at least use it on your opponent's turn too.
Yeah, yeah,
But that being said, it only stays until that turn's over. Is what kind of like draws it down. Like, yes, it's a nice chunky 400, but say if she's the only card on the field, 400 it only puts her at 1100, and that's
that's
that's not
still
gonna really
pretty
do
weak.
much to you. Yeah, that's not gonna do much for you at the end of the day. Basically, she's always gonna be constantly at 400 if you have no equipments on her. So it's like there's not much to it. It's a nice card. It's everything, but yeah.
She's always at 700, not 400.
Right, right. 700. My bad.
Yeah. Now here's the next card, and this card to me is right there. I'm just gonna say
The
it. So
Hidden Leaf Knight.
the Heating Leaf Knight. So this is a 800 with 2 EAs. You can summon this card from your hand during your opponent's turn. If you do, you can add its attack to any ally until the end of its turn. If summoned this way, this card cannot be destroyed the turn it was summoned. Okay, so basically this synergizes exactly the same way White Strike Knight does.
Mm-hmm.
And last time we rated that one at
At
a
a.
S, right? That's
Mm-hmm.
S tier.
Yeah, we did that only because it was only stacking 500.
Right.
But
This
this
is
card.
800. And
Right.
800 is huge. It basically, if your opponent is, your opponent has a face down equip card. The maximum I've seen a normal, and when I say normal, I mean something that doesn't go over, you know, like one more than one turn. And the most I've seen is like plus 700 out of an equip card, right? So if you're telling me this goes 800, that means it doesn't matter if your opponent has one face down equip, because even if they flip it, it won't like passed over whatever you're going over. So let's say
Hmm.
somebody's attacking you, you activate this, bada bing bada boom, they regret attacking you, and you either destroy their attacking ally, or they waste some negate trying to, you know, get rid of the attack. And it's just such a good card. It is such clutch to just keep this in
And
your hand.
and not only that, it's great that this card can also not be destroyed once it's placed on the field.
Right.
Like that concept, amazing, amazing effect. Love the card. Everything about it. It definitely deserves that SS spot.
Yep, it does. It does. Okay, next one is the Forest Knight. Beautiful card as well.
Hmm.
So the Forest Knight is, if this card were to be destroyed, you can discard any Earth instead and negate its destruction. If you do this, this card gains plus 100. It's a 1400 base attack with 0 EA. Okay, so out of the bat, this card has a solid effect.
Hmm.
It synergizes really well in a mono green, but it also synergizes really well on a portal that uses just 5 to 6 earth cards, because you're essentially, if those cards are in your discard zone, or basically in your hand. No, it's in your hand, right? They have to be in your hand. If they're in your hand, you can just discard it and get that negate, and it buffs you.
Right, and I just love it's just like the Green Amber Knight, how he gets buffed the way this card does.
Right, and actually, this card symbolizes very it's the same as the Dark Feather Knight, where the Dark Feather Knight, you could use a dark card to discard and negate its destruction, right? It's the same
Mhm.
basically style, but the buff, the plus 100 buff, just makes it a little bit better to me. Plus,
Right.
plus it's a 1400. Come on, you do two
That
times that, and you're over a Ultimate Protector.
mm, yeah, for that one is definitely a S rank for me for how that card is. Mm, I'd say A. I
A,
give it an A.
yeah, I'm gonna put it in an A because it still needs the synergy, right? It,
Right, right.
without the synergy, it can stand on its own two legs, but it it pales into comparison.
Right, right, because it's also only just Earth cards that that he has a discard.
Yes, correct. Okay, next card. Sand Dragon. Okay, so Sand Dragon, it's a vanilla 1500 dragon, zero equip ability.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so the thing about this card, as itself, is right down here. Or even here, maybe because it has a little bit more attack,
Yes,
but and here's the big problem. You don't play Sand Dragon on its own. Never. You play Sand Dragon with Baby Sand Dragon, because you know what Baby Sand Dragon does with Sand Dragon. So,
right.
as itself, I gotta leave it low. I gotta leave it either
Like
B or
yeah, like
C.
on its own, it it's not really much. Would you rank it higher than the other two cards?
Um, on its own,
Yeah,
mm,
the Green Knight or the Jade Knight.
yeah, I would probably, yeah, because I would play it because it's still kind of a big beater, but
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it definitely is better than Jade Knight. Like I would play
And
this onto a board.
yeah, yeah, and definitely Jade Knight is better than the Green Knight.
Yes, I think so. Yeah. Okay. The
Alright,
next
next go.
one is the Guard Golem.
Hmm.
So the Guard Golem is a 1100. This card gains plus 200 for every golem that is on your field. We have had other synergies like these where it's like dragons and where we stand it and dragons last time. It's situational. It
Mm.
is a card that if you don't have too many golems, you're screwed. We have had people create basically pure golem decks, and they're fun. But there's not enough golems to make a 30 card um, portal right now. So
Right.
um, my biggest gripe with it is if you don't have the golems either in your field or in your discard, this card really is pretty weak.
Hmm.
Um, So that being said, it is better than the light dragon that we had last time, um, because it counts the field and the discard pile, so it's both of them.
Right. Right.
So even if you had like a bunch of golems on your field and they got destroyed, the effect still keeps carrying on. So it's something where you're kind of be gotta be careful with the golems because they will keep buffing themselves no matter what. So in that aspect, it's a little bit better then. So to me, it goes up here now. Now,
Oh yeah, most definitely.
now when it goes into the C tier, now it's competing against stuff like the wolves, right? Or the ones that had the synergy for like naming what is it called? I think it was the wolves, yeah, in the dark set, the dark tier list that we did.
Mhm. Yeah, yeah,
I think it is right here. That's where I would put it.
yeah. Most definitely, because the thing with the wolves, there's actually less wolf cards than the golem ones. I
Yes.
believe so.
Yes.
Yeah. So with that being said, with how that is going at it, the golems definitely would be ranking higher than the wolves. So
Actually,
yes.
I'm gonna bring it up just because of what you just said. There are more
Hmm.
golem cards than wolf cards, so it does
Hmm.
deserve to be a little bit higher, but it doesn't deserve to be like super high.
Right. And
Um,
would it be in
no,
front of the
no, it stays
the
there.
Emerald Knight?
It stays there.
Okay.
At least in my opinion. Do you think it goes up?
Yeah, yeah. No, no, no. It's good as where he stands.
Okay. Next one
I
is
next one. I love this card. Just how
okay. Talk
it
about it.
just makes me laugh. Dude, so the forest dwarf. I love the style. It just makes me laugh just seeing it. To me it's just great. So while this card is on the field, all Earth allies only you control, gain +1 EA. And with that, it has 500 attack and then 4 EA slots. So
Yeah.
for this card, as we go over, it has to be a mono Earth team for this card to really benefit you heavily. I mean, you can have some Earth cards, but if you're running basically all Earth, this is a card that you should definitely have in. It definitely will help those cards that are the vanilla, where they just no equipment cost, no nothing. This will give them the equipment cost,
Right.
at least one, to at least not be so bland.
Yep. Yep. Yeah, I agree. I agree. Um, So it is a good card, but it really needs that
Yeah.
full mono. So where would you put it?
If anything, I'm not gonna lie, I will put it over the golems.
Okay, over the golems.
Yeah, just he is like one of the kind of like the protected spirit type of way, but not really. He doesn't have that effect where he dies before, but just how that support that he has for your Earth team, I heavily do like that.
Yep. Okay. Next one. So we're gonna go over here and we're gonna go Earth Spirit. Sorry, Earth Sprite. So the Earth Sprite is kind of like how we had all the other sprites. This card also can also be treated as an equip to any Earth ally. It has 3 EA and 1 EA cost. You can have 3 of them in your portal, and it has a base attack of 300. And it's honestly it's kind of how we've had all the other sprites. So where do we put the sprites at last time?
The sprites basically were all C tier because
There it
it's not
goes.
really they're not much to it. They're just there just to be there.
Yep. So we move on. Um, then we go to the Stone Giant. Stone Giant is basically Golem vanilla. This is, I mean, so
There's nothing else to it.
it's like, okay, so you look at the Sand Dragon, you look at the Stone Golem, right? And you go, well, you know, um, the golems have some better synergy, right? Because it does have that going for it. So it has to go here because there's the synergy with the golems. That's basically my understanding right now.
Right. I get where you're going at it with the whole effects with all the other golems.
Yep, yep.
Hmm.
Okay. Um,
Oh,
yeah, big boy. You want to go over
you
him?
got now. You got this.
Okay. So Ancient Forest Giant. This card gains plus 100 for every turn it is on your field. It is a 1600 plus big boy and 0 EA. So first of all, when it says every turn is on your field, again, I don't want people to get confused, and we've already explained this over the FAQ rulings section of the Discord. A turn is your turn. So this only gets plus 100 on your turn. So it has to go, you know, one full turn, you go to the other person, come back to you, and after you draw, basically it goes up to plus 100. That's how it basically a turn is for this card. So, um, is it good? This card's insane. This card
That card.
is
I hate going against him in
yes.
tournaments. That dude already off the bat, just 1600 just ruins me. And then I every time it's always gonna be slow, especially if you get him right off the bat. It's gonna be a slow game. But that slow game is gonna turn crazy if that ancient giant's already out on the field because he's getting plus 100
Yep.
every turn,
So
and it
how I see this is, and okay, basically I'm saying it's an S. It's an S tier card.
right.
Here's
Yes.
and here's why. You play this turn one, either your opponent responds to it by using some effect, some banish card, some high level attack plus a equip or something. Basically, your opponent's going to try to commit to something to get rid of this card, because the moment it comes back to you, it's a 1700, and after that, it's just it's just gonna keep getting bigger and bigger and better. And the problem with this is you don't need an EA to buff this guy. Earth is one of those portals that has a good amount of anthem effects that can buff other Earth cards by it just existing, right? So stuff like Eight of the Goddess, which you're gonna cover in a little bit, and there's another card that basically does the same thing, kind of like a Kingdom card, and it essentially just buffs all the cards on the field. And you don't want this card to keep getting buffed because it's just going to keep growing and growing and growing. And the longer it sits on the field, the longer it's going to be a pain in the ass. So, you want to get rid of this quick. And for a turn one, oof, it hurts. It hurts to see this card on
It
the.
will definitely destroy you. As what you said, unless you have a banishing or just some type of effect to get rid of it, that's the only way. If not, you're just gonna be down.
Yep. Okay, let's move on. Also, the effect does not count while it's face down. You need to have it face up. Just
Hmm.
want to make that clear. Okay, the next one is this one right here, which is Hidden Ally Strike. So Hidden Ally Strike is plus 500 or question marks, which is the effect. When this card is activated, you can give plus 500 to any ally on your field, or you can choose to discard any ally from your hand, uh, from your hand, and add its attack value to any card on your field. So this is a interesting version of what you would think something like Hidden Leaf Knight. So first of all, you're never going to equip this with the plus 500. And just out of the get go, you're never going to do that. Because for a 2 EA cost as an equip card, it is way too costly to just spend the plus 500. So 99% of the time you're going to use this and you're going to get rid of something like a sand dragon, or you're going to get rid of something like a golem, uh the stone golem, which is like plus 1500, right? So
Right.
you're trying to get rid of something really big, and all you need to spend is 2 EA plus a card, right? So
Right.
you spend something like that and you get so high up that it doesn't matter, your opponent won't be able to contest it.
Right. For me, it's like a nice counter card.
Yes.
It will work so perfectly as a counter card when you're running a Earth mono team, which I definitely enjoy using that card.
Yeah, I agree. I agree. Um, so, by the way, there is a little bit of confusion on this card because it doesn't specifically say that it
Oh.
is a one turn card. But if you see at the bottom, there is a
Hmm.
lightning under it, right? The
Hmm.
lightning signifies that this card doesn't stay on the field, by the time that turn ends. It leaves. So you need to get rid of it, which means the buff also goes away. It doesn't just stay permanently. It actually goes away. So this is a clutch card. It is not a permanent card.
Hmm.
Because of that, I cannot put it like higher than,
I say at B at most because,
yeah.
as what you said, you lose the buff, you lose. Say as what you said, use the sand dragon. You lose the sand dragon just basically for the rest of the game, just for a one turn buff. Like it would be useful,
Yep.
but you also lost a 1500 base sand dragon.
Yep.
Would it be better than the dwarf or the golem? What do you think?
Whew. um yeah.
I would say it's better. Yeah, I say it's better than the golem at most. Um, no, I think it stays where it is
I
actually.
Yeah, I think it stays where it is. Yeah, I like it where it is.
Hmm.
So, okay, I'm gonna keep going.
Oh yeah, the Earth Summoner.
Okay, look up where we put all the other summoners.
So with the Earth Summoner, it's just like how the Dark Summoner was. What we said for those, it's basically just C.
Yeah.
There's not much to it. It's
Um.
all it does is you search your portal for any Earth Summon card. If you have no cards on your field, you can play this card for 0 equipment cost for during your opponent's combat phase.
Yep.
And it's a 2 cost if you already do have a card on your field.
Yep. Basically.
So so for that, just it's just C tier. There's you can't go any further. It's nice to have it to summon to do a bring in a summon, but other than that, there's nothing to it.
Yep. There is nothing to it. Size doesn't matter. Oh, this card is the nightmare for most people that play against Tiny Chaos. This card can only be equipped to a card with base attack of 500 or less, and it gives them plus 1,000. And it's only a 1 EA cost. It is insane.
It's crazy.
Okay, so right off the bat, this card's right there.
Yeah, for that card, as what I was saying earlier, you using this card on protected spear that can't be killed with people less than 500 base attack. You equip that card with it. That card's already at 1100, and you have to have someone that starts below 500 base attack get all the way past 1100 just so you can destroy it. Yes, you can have cards to banish it, but that's the only way to get rid of that card is by banishing it or exiling or having some type of effect to get rid of it.
Yep.
So yeah, I agree with you on S tier.
Perfect. Okay. Next one, it is the Mythical Forest. Forest Kingdom. All Earth allies on your field get plus 200. um,
And
basically,
and the card gives you 200
eh,
already as well.
exactly. Basically, this is you equip it to somebody, and boom, that card gets an instant 400 because its effect gives it to everybody that is Earth. So the idea is that you have an Earth portal, right? The mono
Mhm.
Earth portal, and
Mhm.
then boom, your ancient forest giant is huge. Boom, your forest knight is huge now, right? That's kind of the concept. The problem is it's a 2 EA cost. And I've said this already with a bunch of these um, buffing cards. Uh, the thing here is it synergizes well with Earths. It's not dependent on, your discard zone or your opponent's discard zone. The only problem is that it is dependent that you have Earth allies, which again, I think, and you can check me term, I think we've put most of these either in C or in D term. I think this one is in the C realm.
Yeah, for that, especially for its effect, yeah, for being two costs, it's a heavy price,
Yeah.
but I agree.
Yep. Okay. Next one, here we go here. Next one is Titan's Strength. Oh my god, this card's bad. Plus 400, plus 100 Earth. It is a 2 EA. No effect, no nothing. Here. That's where I would put it. I would never play this card. Ever. Why? It's a 2 EA cost for just 400. And I don't even care that it gives me up to 500 if I'm playing an Earth portal. That is not enough to justify a 2 EA cost. Sorry.
I feel you on that. Like it's basically saying it's like the card we just went over with the Mystic Forest Kingdom. You get this card that initially puts on it. It's already getting 400, but at least it's giving a helpful use to other cards. But this card, it's just 400 to the person itself. If
Yep.
it's not an Earth, or if it at least is an Earth, it's 500, but at a 2 cost and no effect.
Nah.
eh, It doesn't really help me.
Yep. And dude, there's so many other better cards than this. So yeah,
Yeah.
just nope. And then the last one for the origin, base part of it. We have the Aegis of the Goddess. This was the card that I was mentioning a little bit earlier. This is a 2 EA again. Got this. Earth is a very 2 EA type of thing. This
Yeah.
card also gives plus 100 to all allies on your field for every Earth ally on your discard pile. So, yes, you give plus 200 to the card you're putting on, but then it also gives the plus 100 to all the Earth allies as an anthem effect. So again, the idea is this synergizes well with stuff like ancient forest giant, forest knight, all those golems and stuff. The idea is you pair this with a golem portal that always is looking at the discard pile to see how many golems you have in there, and it works well. It's a good card because um it synergizes with a few of the golems, but at the same time, it can be a threatening card depending on how many, how late of a game you play this. As
Mhm.
its own, as itself, I'm sorry, but I cannot play this as itself. I need to play this with a portal that can heavily utilize this. If not, I wouldn't play this. It doesn't give me enough of a buzz.
At most, as what you said so far, I was gonna say I put it down to a B
Yeah,
at most.
yeah, B. That's where it lives. B. Okay, so we're down to the last. Okay, so if we pull from the alt arts, this card's the same. This is the alt version of the ancient forest giant, which is
Mhm.
better than
Yeah,
the
that
other.
card looks even better.
Yeah, it does look even better. Then we have from the collector edition cards, we have the uh, forest guardian. The Forest Guardian is I'm looking it up right
So,
now. Yep.
Forest Guardian, this card gains plus 100 for every Earth ally in any discard pile,
Right.
and he starts off with a 1600 base attack, but
Right.
with no EA.
So, in contrary to Ancient Forest Giant, which can stand on its two legs and keep growing, right? This one is dependent on your discard pile to grow, right? It still has a decent amount of attack. I have played this card on turn one, and it scares people because it's like,
Hmm.
oh, if I don't kill this, it's gonna grow, and it's either gonna grow because he's gonna put cards in the discard pile, or I might accidentally put a card, let's say, green rhino, and which we haven't still talked about, but I bring that up, and then that counts for it. So it's a difficult card that you might want to get over quickly, but it is not at the same level of ancient forest giant. So I think it's at A.
Hmm. I definitely agree with that. As especially what you said, like it has to have cards into this card. It has really high attack,
Yep.
but it definitely needs that someone else assisting you putting cards in there.
Yep. Okay, next one is the Dragon Breath Knight. It's an interesting card. I've actually never played this card. This card gains plus 400 for every ally with the word dragon in its name on your field or any discard pile, excluding discard. So, one, it doesn't buff itself. Two, it's a 600 base attack, and it's a 2 EA equip ability. So, it's weak. It is a weak card. It needs the synergy, and sadly, its synergy is dragons. So you need to put this in a dragon deck. The second problem is you need to put this in a dragon deck where you have cards in the discard pile. So, it is a big attack. This thing can grow massively. Like if
Hmm.
you have four dragons in your discard pile, oh my god, this guy grew, right?
It, oh, jeez, yes. I fought what was it? Dogfire. He had that card, and
Hmm.
man, that card once he pulled it out, that was basically his trump card. That stumped me heavily.
But you need to have the synergy. So
Right.
synergizing, it's good. It's an A. Um, Not being able to synergize,
Like on a standalone, it has to have dragons.
it does.
For for me, I put it down as what we had with other dragons. We had it down to a C,
A
a D.
C. Mm,
But I'll put him at a C though, because
I
he has to have the synergy. But on his own,
see. Here's my thing, and I know where we've put some of these other dragon cards that buffs themselves. My biggest thing is that he just needs two dragons on the field or in any discard pile, and he's now at 1400. And that's
mm,
comparable. 1400 with
yeah,
two
yeah,
EA is comparable, right? We're talking you have
right.
one dragon on your field and one dragon in your discard pile, and this guy goes nuts. So I need to place him at a B at minimum,
Ah,
at a
okay,
B.
yeah, right, right. I see what you mean. I thought his card was only in the discard pile. No, it's also on the field. Okay, yeah, yeah. Okay. I
Yep.
definitely got you now on that one.
Yep. Okay, next one. Okay, so this is a complicated one. You want to cover it?
So the Green Beetle King. If you have one other beetle on your field or discard pile, this card gains 300. If you have two, if you have two, this card gains 700 and it cannot be banished. And he already starts off with 1500 attack.
Yep. And he's a beetle
So,
type.
yep. And how this card works is basically you've got to be running a beetle team.
Yep.
And I mean, already off the bat, just having one also on the field, this dude shoots up to 1800
Yep.
with
So
no EA cost.
it's a good card, but we only really have like four beetles right now. This is a problem. If you only
Yeah.
have four beetles that trigger this effect, it's a problem. Because on its own, it's just a 1500. If you don't have any other beetles, this card is only a 1500 and none of the effect matters. Right? Now,
Mm,
add the beetle synergy, which is only four cards, and where do you go? Well, one, you need to either have a beetle on the board, or two, you need to have a beetle on the discard pile, right?
hmm
And after that, if you do have both beetles in the discard pile, oh my god, this
Oh
card's
man.
700 plus, and then it gets no, you can't banish it. So you need to cough up 2200 and beat it in battle.
hmm
That's just rough. That's really rough. Um, it's a tough card. I have played at most two beetles at the same time on the field. It was difficult to make them stick. Um, but I have played against people who have played the Green Beetle King and have gotten him to that 2200 with no banish, and it's been a pain to get rid of it.
hmm
So I agree this card is a problem.
Most definitely.
What do you think?
So, with that being said, like he does have a pretty nice base attack as is. As long if you can at least just get one, I th- I would say he's a B.
He's a B? Yeah, I agree. I would put him right here, right below
Okay.
the Breath Knight.
Yeah,
I
yeah, I definitely agree with that. With his effect and his base attack being like how his effect definitely is a nice synergy. Yeah.
Yep. Now moving on, we have the Green Amber portal. So the Green Amber portal starts off with its kind of main guy, which is, let me look it up.
All right. So for the Green Amber Knight, if this card were to be destroyed, you can discard any Earth and or Amber Sprite and negate its destruction. If you do this, this card gets plus 200. And he already starts off with a 1400 base with no EA.
uh I think he's awesome. It
hmm
it like two cards, not one, two, Earths and Amber. But they do have to be sprites. I do get it. Sprites, right? It's not any card. It has to be sprites.
Right.
Um, but the idea that you can negate and buff him, all you need to do is just run a couple sprites. And there are a couple of good sprites in the Amber portal that are better than your traditional sprites.
Especially what's the
The
tough
tough,
amber sprite.
yeah,
That one has already 600 base attack. Like, geez, he's I think he's the strongest.
yeah, he is this.
Incoming as base attack.
Yeah, yeah, he's literally the strongest boy. And I'll show the card down here. This guy right here.
Hmm.
So, and basically, he is a power beater on its own, and the idea that um, you run him uh, kind of alone or with some of the other sprites like the this Earth sprite over here, it's just good. It's a good card to just throw away and basically win games. do that a couple
Literally.
do that a couple times and you win a couple games. There you go.
Yeah, I did that. I think it was one of my matches with Chris. I had the Green Amber Knight out, and I just kept on pulling my sprites just out of the blue. I think I got up to at most 2400 with him,
Yeah.
and he wasn't even supposed to be like my main hit for the portal. He was just getting there on his own.
Yep. Okay, the next card we have is, so we have the Earth Knight, but that's just a different art than the
Hmm.
other Earth Knight that we already pulled over here. This one over here, so we're not gonna pull him. We have
So it would be the baby sand dragon.
no,
Would be
this
the
one.
next.
Actually, dark green. Oh yeah, that one we already did. J Knight we already did. Earth Knight, Forest. Okay, Baby Sand Dragon. Yes, you are correct.
Hmm.
So, Baby Sand Dragon, the OP Sand Dragon. I'm just gonna put it up here, and we'll have a discussion about it.
Hmm.
Baby Sand Dragon is a 400, so you would not expect much of it, right? But it gets buffed by its effect. This card gains plus 600 for every Baby Sand Dragon and plus 1,200 for every Sand Dragon in any discard pile. It has 2 EA, it's a dragon, and you can have 3 of them. So we're talking, if you have 2 other Sand Dragons in your discard, this card is basically a whopping 1,600 all on its own, just by having 2 cards in the discard pile. Like, and it has 2 EA. You cannot tell me that that's not great.
It really is for um with my tournament against Dogfire. He had this card. This card was just stumping me so much, only because it definitely counters someone who using a portal of Protective Spirit.
Right.
This card just overrules that,
Yep.
having the effect of other baby sand dragons. It's just a drastic amount. 600.
Yeah. And
600.
add another card. The basic Sand Dragon, which is a 1,500, and that's another 1,200. Just off the get-go. You just need to have this guy on the discard pile, and he is already 1,600. Every single one. You can play 3 baby sand dragons on the field at the same time, and as long as you have big sand dragon in the discard pile, all 3 of them are freaking 1,600 beaters.
Mm-hmm.
That is insane. Okay, and they still have 2 EA, and if you kill one of them, they only grow bigger. How is
It's
that not broken?
that card is insane.
Yeah.
There's nothing to it. With that effect, it's very powerful.
Yep.
It's just you can't. You basically got to try to keep them in the field. It's all you got to do.
or kill them all at once and then exile them. Basically, you either
Mhm.
exile them all or you destroy them all at the same time. Basically, and
Mhm.
and pray that you do not discard them or banish them, and your opponent has Deep Sea Knight, because then you're gonna regret everything. Now, to add to that, is as any discard pile. So
Oh man.
if you just happen to be playing against somebody else that has the same brilliant idea as you because they're seeing this video and they said that Javakun in terms said Baby Sand Dragon is busted and you can run this 4 card combo on any portal and they play this freaking card, you are gonna regret everything because now they're gonna get buffed and you're gonna get buffed and you guys are gonna have to keep tracking of who's getting buffed better essentially.
Mhm.
um and it's gonna be a problem. this
Hey,
card this card's great.
I'm just telling you that effect is powerful.
Yeah.
As what you said, if just say one baby sand dragon dies, you just pull out another one. It's already at 1,000. That's nice. For I think of these cards like sprites. For quote unquote a sprite to hit 1,000 already. I, it, think of that as well. You can use size
Size doesn't
size.
matter. Yeah.
Ah, dude.
Dude, size doesn't matter is a one equip onto a baby sand dragon. A
Oh my god, dude! I
one
can't think of that.
equip. Oh my god.
We're just giving people more ideas on this.
Well, it's part of the whole structure
Yep.
of this portal. Like green amber portal is such a good portal to just buy, like right off the bat, just get it, right? Because there's so many good cards in it, and it's Baby Sand Dragon. Baby Sand
Mhm.
Dragon just makes that portal so good. So when you add on top of that, size doesn't matter and some of the other synergistic cards, it just makes it so much better.
Yes.
Now moving on out of Baby Sand Dragon because we already praised it too much, we're gonna go
Yeah.
into Forest Guard Golem, which is a 1200 golem that which you can play 3 of them. Kind of like your Baby Sand Dragon, and it has 1 EA. This card gains plus 100 for every golem in your field or discard pile. So basically, what we're
It's just
saying,
like the other golem,
yep, it is just like the other golem.
the guard
Now,
golem.
now it does have a little bit more attack, but it does get buffed a little bit slower.
Mhm.
So the problem here, and it is kind of a situational thing, is this card you're gonna have 3 of them, right? So you can have you know, three
More
other.
than one of that one.
Yeah, yeah. So 3 of these. So on its own is better than this other guy because you can have 3 of him.
Yes. Mhm.
Um, now, uh, if I were playing a golem portal, and I was gonna draw a hand, what would I prefer to see? Would I prefer to see the guard golem because I want that plus 200, or would I prefer to see a forest guard golem because I want that plus 100? And when it comes to having the cards in the hand and playing them, I've seen that this is better than this for some reason, just because it grows faster. If I play 3 of these cards on the field, well, yes, they synergize with each other and basically they all buff each other. So that's technically plus 300 for each one. So they become 1500, right? If I play this card, this one right here, with 2 other golems, it doesn't matter what golems they are, just 2 other golems, he is now effectively a, I believe is what is it? What is it?
You said if you play.
1700, right? Because does he count itself? I believe he does because it's is every golem on the field, and he is a golem, so it does count itself. It doesn't exclude himself. Um, So effectively, he grows by 200 just by being played on the field,
Mhm.
right? So he grows to a 1700 while all your other golems are 1500. How is that even
Right.
fair, right? So he grows faster. That's why I like him a little bit more than the other guy.
Yeah, yeah.
That's it. Where do you want him? Oh, I
I
actually no.
I
I think he's there.
yeah, I think just where you put him is right.
Okay, cool. Let's grab the last few ones that we're missing.
The druid golem.
Druid Golem.
So for
Uh,
him, he's just a vanilla card. He's at a 1100 base attack. You can at least have 3 of them, but he has no EA.
okay.
He,
I'll put
he's
him over
just
here.
yeah, he's just very basic. There's nothing else to it.
Yep. And then this guy. So now we get to the good boy.
The green rhino samurai.
Green. You talk about him first.
So with him, you can discard this card from your hand or field on your opponent's turn to negate an attack, or you can just place him as is, and he has a 1300 base attack with no EA.
This card is so good, man. It is such a. It's basically, you're scaring people with having a 1300. You can negate at any point in time on your opponent's turn. Um, it synergizes with the samurai cards. It synergizes with earth cards. Overall, this is a great card. It's stealthy. You can discard it from hand to negate. It's a presence. It's such a versatile card. I've always wanted, like, I when I play some type of green structure deck or something, I put him on just because he's good. So I think it's S, and
Okay.
I actually think it's better than this guy.
Hmm.
What do you think?
Um, I would say yes. He's not. I would say at most. Yeah.
He's a negate. He doesn't need anything else from anybody. You can
Right.
play him a one of, because that's it. That's all he is. He's a one of. You can play it as a one off, and this card is still good.
Right. Right. If anything, yeah, I would put him as an S. But you say better than the Green Amber Knight?
Yes, because the Green
Yeah.
Amber Knight requires sprites. That's my only
Right.
reason.
Yeah. Yeah. I would definitely. Yeah, I say he's right. He's right where he is.
Okay, and then the last
And
card is this card,
the
which
Forest Portal.
the Force Portal. So Force Portal is a plus 100, so that means it gives 100 to whatever it's equipped to. It is a 0 EA, so that means, or EC, sorry. So that means that you can equip it for free. And when this card's in the discard pile, you can retrieve any one banish card, and this card can, you can only do this once per game. So basically, if it's in the discard pile, you can kind of keep it separate so that at any moment something lands on the banished zone, you can grab it. And there's a key word here, and it's you can retrieve any one banish card. Okay? Any one banish card. It does
Mhm.
not specify that it's your banish pile. It does not. It can be your opponent's banish pile. If this card is in your discard pile, you can retrieve any one banished card. Again, if you read it that same exact way, it does not specify that it is your banished zone.
Right. Right.
So,
So the sad thing, it's like a weak version of Neptune's armor. Neptune's armor. No, not Neptune's armor.
no, 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 no.
The what's his name? The Neptune.
Deep Sea
Uh,
Knight?
Deep Sea Knight. My bad.
I mean, no, Deep Sea Knight is just insane. But this card, it's a utility card, right? So
Mhm.
it is a card that you play. So one, on its own, It's essentially a monster reborn. That's all it is. It's a monster reborn. You want to place this on a card that you know is going to die. So you can keep it in your discard pile. So when something lands on your banish pile, boom, you get it, right? Or if something good lands on your opponent's banish pile, you get it.
Mm-hmm.
So it is a good card, but it's honestly like I said, you just need to immediately try to get it discarded so that it can serve its purpose to get something off the. Because again, what's the point of having this if it gets banished? Well, now you lost it, right? Now its effect is gone. It, plus 100 is not that good. Yes, it's 0 EA, so you can technically equip it to anything. Actually,
Mm-hmm.
you can equip it to any of these big guys that have 0 EAs and make them bigger, right?
Right, right.
Turn one, equip it to Ancient Forest Giant. If it dies, or if somebody banished it, the card that gets banished is Ancient Forest Giant, not Forest Portal. So Forest Portal goes to the discard pile. Ancient Forest Giant goes to the banish zone. You can use Forest Portal to bring back your Ancient Forest Giant, and there you go. You have him back. So it's a good card. I've played it a bunch of times. I think it's somewhere around A.
All right, yeah. With that, being able to just get one card.
Yeah, yeah. It's just a good card. And that's it for the green amber, because everything else we've already covered. Sorry for the green. So thank you everyone. We'll see you next time.
See you.